Hey everybody, it's Peter. This is my Flosstube channel, oh for Pete's sake .stitch, where I talk about my cross stitch. If you're new, thanks for coming. If you're a returning watcher, thanks for coming back. I greatly appreciate all of y'all. The comments and the feedback are always greatly appreciated. So thanks for everything. Um, Yeah, I do this on a monthly basis, and so a lot can happen, but at the same time, very little. A lot has happened in my life that has impacted having a smaller amount of stitching. My kitchen sink started leaking, so a third of my kitchen is torn up, and so meal prep and cleanup is taking a lot longer during the evenings, so that's less stitching time. We went on vacation and uh, I was swimming and a big wave came and hit me and I lost my glasses. So I was working off of a 4 year old prescription for my glasses, so that slowed my stitching. And then I'm a member of a kickball league, and so we have practice and a game every week. And so, again, and the games are Sunday afternoon when I usually do a lot of stitching. Um, a lot happening outside of stitching, but that just means I've got less stitching to show you. There's less, but it still looks really cool. The first thing that I'm going to show you is a finish from last month's start, and that is the Gathering Bright Blooms by Robin Pickens cross stitch. And the recommended, well, yeah, so I finished this start from last time. I picked out my favorite blossoms and stitched those into a straight line so that way I can make it into a drum. Last month I talked about how I was going to have some problems with the border, and it ended up that the border is the same number of, it's 3 stitches between the flower and the border, but because of that, this border is sort of, it looks a little jagged, but that is completely okay because it's going to be sort of on the back side or on the side of the drum. And so it's just noticeable now because it's flat. But once I finish it into a drum, it's gonna be really nice. Now I had originally intended. Oh, sorry. So the recommended is a Navy Ada, and I used the Picture This Plus Mystic 32 count, and I used the DMC conversion using 2 floss over 2 linen threads. And so just to give it a little bit more of a bulk type appearance, doing 2/2. I had originally intended to use just some fabric on the top and the bottom of the drum, but I ended up having quite a bit of linen on the side and the bottom. So there is one floral motif. You can see right here is a circle that I have to first stitch the ends together to make a circle, and then measure my circle to see whether or not this little medallion type will fit. So I may do that. The other thing that I may do is, if you let's see, we are curious crafters, the Flosstube station, Carolyn and Anna. They just showed some of their retreat gifts, and what they had done is they made pens. Just go watch their most recent one, where they used perforated paper and pens to create some really decorative pens. So I did think that maybe what I might do is just use the linen and just put green or put blue linen on the top, and then take their idea of making some pens and perforated paper and use these smaller flowers like here and these little round ones, and make pens that I can stick into the top rather than trying to do the math in order to fit this spiral. The perforated paper would probably be a little bit easier than the math. So yeah, so that's why I haven't finished it into the complete drum yet. It's because I haven't quite settled on what it may be. You know, what I may also do is, instead of this larger spiral, use this red one. But I didn't really want to do that because this red flower is the same as the blue, and I stitched the blue. So I don't know yet. There's no, this isn't a gift, or I don't need to take it anywhere anytime soon. So it will just sit there for a while. So I'll see what happens. Yeah, but yeah, go see Carolyn and Anna on the Curious Crafters, and they had some really cool ideas for table gifts. So that's my only finish for this month. The first work in progress that I'm going to show you is the Teresa Koget's Remember Me. And so I had shown my start on this last time, and so last month I had finished most of the first page. So it's this upper left hand corner. So I had done down to this tulip flower and the Win and the REM and this large dahlia. So in this past month, I have finished this flower down here, stitched this flower and the bird. This you see, Remember Me, and then these two flowers and the leaf in the upper right hand corner. Again, I've just had. Oh, sorry. This is Remember Me by Teresa Koget, using XJU Designs Victorian Tea Party 40 count, using the recommended DMCs and there's two overdyed floss. So yeah, so that's, again, I've just really enjoyed all of these reds and pinks, and they just, for only having two pinks, that reddish color is used brick, so it's appearing darker in the video, but in person it can be just a really nice dark pink. So it's just been a lot of fun to stitching on. So I also talked about last time, the lighter green color I had changed from Celadon, Weeks Dye Works Celadon, to Weeks Dye Works Scuppernong. And so that Scuppernong is in this leaf and the base of this flower. So it's giving that really nice gradient. So the DMCs makes it economical, but you still get that little bit of shading. So that's fun. So you can see this little box underneath this leaf, and that is the chimney to the flower, or a chimney to the house. And the house is all DMC. So I have been slightly thinking of changing some of the house colors to overdyed cottons, just so that way, again, I can get that little bit of variation. But the house has a little pattern in it, so I'm worried that if I use an overdyed, I'll lose that pattern. So I may just keep it the DMC. So I've got a little bit to decide on that first. I'm going to come up to these flowers and come down a little bit before I make the decision on the house. Let's see what else. Oh, the other problem that I've encountered, and this is my own doing. It's not Teresa Kogut. So I'm not using the recommended linen color. I'm using something. I'm using a linen that's a little bit lighter, and so this bee, the wings are a white color, obviously. So because my linen is lighter, I'm not getting. You barely see the bee's wings. So I've been trying to figure out if let me give me a second and I'll find out what the wings are. Yeah, so the wings are 38 DMC 3866. So I'm trying to figure out if I want to go brighter and go to a B5200. So maybe that brighter would show up more, or if I go in a completely different way and end up using like a gray. So just so that way, because my linen is more tan, if I do a grayish color, maybe they would show up better. I don't know. The other crazy idea I've had is wondering if just for the bee, what if I did some satin stitches? So I've got my cross stitches already in there, but if I were to do just some diagonal satin stitches, I'm wondering if that having it raised and a different texture would also cause the bee's wings to be more apparent. So I'm trying to figure out what to do with that. There is another bee like right underneath this butterfly that I need to get to next, but I haven't quite figured out what I'm going to do about the wings. So I'm waiting to do that. So yeah, so remember me. It's beautiful. I'm really enjoying it. The one thing that I will say is that there's a lot of pink and red in this work in progress, and I'm going to be showing you another work in progress that has quite a bit of red and pink in it as well. And so it's like I really need some blue in my life sometime soon. So I've been looking at my blue options, and the first one that comes to mind is Teresa Kogut's dwelling place, which I've already got this big piece, and the other reddish work in progress is also large, so I really don't need a third large one, but we'll wait and see. I'm looking for a blue sampler, so if you know of one, just let me know. The second work in progress that I did this past month was Scarlet House's Sarah Redfern, and this has been a problem. So I couldn't find the recommended linen color. So I chose XJU Design Little Bunny 46 count. And I think it's just a little too light. And so the like this blue honeysuckle flower here in the corner. And what I did this month was I finished the pot and I restitched these leaves and stems because I wanted them to be more green, but what I chose didn't look nice. And I've never really enjoyed the vine. Now she uses Belsois chocolate, and in her directions she says that her dye lot of Belsois is more green and mine is more black. And so for the entire This is my oldest work in progress. I've had this since 2021, and I spent 3 days stitching this project, and I've decided that I'm done with it. Um, I don't like the blue on the linen that I chose. I don't like the chocolate being so black, and I don't like the green that I chose as a substitute, because it's one of those things that I chose a new Belle Soie to replace the chocolate, and I don't like my choice either. So I'm calling it quits on this, um, which is horrible because I absolutely love the pattern, and I went back. I originally fell in love with this pattern from Brenda and Laura's, like one of their first 10 videos. They did a recap of Scarlet House patterns, and I when I was stitching this, I rewatched it, and it's like, no, I still love that pattern. I still want to stitch it at some point. It's just the colors that I have now on the linen that I have now, I'm just not happy with it. And I realized on the third night that I was stitching on it, it's like I shouldn't be working this hard on telling myself that I like something. So um, I'm gonna just cut out this corner and save the fabric for something else. Uh, and I've made notes I've made notes on what colors I do like and what colors I don't, and I'll pick it up. I'll restart it someday, but right now I'm ready to move on. So Sarah Redfern will be taken off my work in progress list and put away for a little bit. Yeah, yeah, that's what I'll do. I took Sarah Redfern off my work in progress list, and since I could have picked up a different work in progress and continued making progress on that list, but what I decided to do instead was to start a new piece. And so this is Hannah Phillips by Needlework Press. This was a model that was stitched at Country Sampler's Summer Stitch Camp. Um, I fell in love with it, and so I've just really wanted to work on it. So that's why I chose Hannah. And so you can see, um, I worked on this for about as many days as I stitched on Sarah Redfern. So I know that this is a different count fabric, so it covers a lot more space. It's quicker to make it look big, but I'm just really enjoying this one, and it made me even happier about my choice of setting aside Sarah Redfern. It's because I've really enjoyed this. So I'm stitching this on Needle Bling Heirloom 36 count, and I am using the overdyed muted cottons that are listed on the back of the pattern. So the original list is, yeah. So they give a Verosoie 103, Tudor silk, and Belle Soie silk, and then a DMC, and this overdyed cotton conversion. So you get all three colorways, and so I chose the cottons. Yeah, and I'm just those squares, those quilt stars, not squares. The quilt stars have been a lot of fun to stitch. So I'm slowly working my way across the top, so that way I can get to this cartouche that is in the middle. Now the antique is here on the bottom, and so you can see it's a very long quote, very long. I don't know if it's a prayer or a Bible quote. I haven't read it yet, but instead of doing all of that over one, they have offered an alphabet for the center. And so what I've done is I found a poem that I wanted to stitch on some sampler at some time, and this one just so happens to be the right exact size that I need. So I always I always change words or quotes that are on samplers, and so I'm always looking for something. And I found this one poem, and I'm not going to share it yet, just because I don't want somebody to steal it from me. But like anybody's gonna steal it. But anyways, I've got this really fun poem that I'm gonna be able to stitch in that cartouche. So yeah, so that you can see, this is the one that I was talking about earlier. Has all of the red and pinks in it, just like Remember Me. And when I stopped the video, I also went and picked up a dwelling place for those folks who don't know what that sampler looks like. It's absolutely beautiful, but it is very large. So, but it would look really pretty right beside Lit Love Rain and Remember Me and Dwelling Place. So, someday soon, hopefully. We'll see. So, yeah, so that's all of my that's everything I worked on. Like I said, I wasn't able to do a whole lot of stitching this month, and I see that my video is very short, so I'm gonna grab some previous finishes to show y'all, just so it's worth your time coming. 1 second. All right. So just to make it worth your time, I just went over to my table and grabbed some previous finishes to show you some fall/Halloween decorations. So the first one that I'm going to, sorry for the bumping, first one that I'm going to show you is from With Thy Needle and Thread, A Witch in Her Garden. And this was part of Chrissy from Finally a Farm Girl. This was her birthday stitch along. And so I stitched this on 36 count Zweigart Country Mocha, which is the recommended floss color. And so yeah, so I just used all of the recommended colors. The one thing that I will say is that, like, the sunflowers is, I think it's gold leaf. Sometimes it can be a little bit more orange than yellow, but it still makes for a great sunflower color. And then back here on the, yeah, so back on the end, you can see that I put my initials. I did this back in 2022. One of the things that I absolutely love about With Thy Needle and Thread drums is she's very smart, and she does half a design on one end of the pattern and finishes the other half of the design for yeah, just so that way the seam is exact. So that's a really cool feature that yeah, that it's so smart. Brenda Gervais just knocks it out of the park. I bought this as a kit from the Country Stitches, Brenda Gervais website, and so she provided the velveteen and the pumpkin stem, and this was finished by Vonna Pfeiffer. So yeah, so it's amazingly done. I've tried to do drums, and I'm just not that good at it yet. We're gonna see the blooms, the blue one that I showed you at the beginning. I'm gonna do that one, and it's gonna be good, I hope. The next two that I have are Blackbird Designs, and they come from the Winds of Autumn book that came out a few years ago. And so the first one that I'm going to show you is Bittersweet September. And What I did was I used 36 count Witcholt khaki and all of the recommended floss colors. The one thing that I did do differently is that in the pattern, you can see that she capitalized the W, and I changed mine so that way I capitalized the P for my initials, or for my first name. And then in the model, all of the letters are two different colors. So it's like a reddish orange and then like a burnt orange color. And so I changed it so that way my initials are in the burnt orange and then all the other letters are in the reddish orange. So that actually, I think that's tomato, because that was the first time I had used that bright orange color. So that is Bittersweet September. Is the first one from this book. And then the other finish that I have is from the start of the book, and it's called Spell of the Moon. And here's my little finish of it. And I used 36 count wood die for you. And let me look at my records here. Yeah, so I did not use the recommended floss colors. I used General Arts Gold Leaf, Classic Color Black Coffee, and Classic Color Works Stepping Stone. Because the stepping stone is the gray, the black coffee is the black, obviously, and then the gold leaf is that yellow. So that's my other fall finish. So I do finish some of my smalls. I mean, they don't all just sit in a drawer. So yeah, so that's a bonus 3 finishes for you for the fall. So that's all I've got for you for September, and thanks for coming by, and I will see you next month. Thanks.